that within the next 200 years, we're going to go into a very serious deep ice age. I think Alex's point is that in all of these things, there are legitimate things. COVID has, there are real things, people are getting sick. Global warming, to an extent, I'm sure is happening. Of course it's happening. But then there are also nefarious characters that want to use that to take away your freedom. There are people that don't want you owning a car. There's all these legacy systems. Whitney Webb, who's a journalist who came on my show, said,
You worried about those SAS communications being compromised?
I'll just get you to stand.
Israeli Jew Nation.
Just get you to stand over there in that corner for me, thanks, Brendan. And the next room.
Has Variant or Andor, any of those companies involved in surveillance devices, have they installed any surveillance?
Will you just pop out of the way for us, thanks, yeah.
This is about SAS Camel Barracks, Leon Wind, Variant. Timothy, you told me that Variant does your local and national, your local police intercept from Israeli intelligence front.
Hola, Internet amigos. Today's date is the 3rd of January, 2025. Another mad month. We're getting there. I just reset up my laptop for stuff. Let's talk about Whitney Webb. I want to talk about, there's a lot to talk about, but let me just do a brief, no more than 15 or 20 minutes this morning. Your time is precious. So is mine. I've got a few things to do and then settle back into screaming at my laptop using OBS recording software. Whitney Webb. Now I will be doing a good voiceover of her because she is the perfect example. I know for a fact that Whitney Webb was brought in to replace me. How do I know that? Well, there's a guy called John Wilson whose brother is in ASIO. That's the Australian CIA, Australian Securities Intelligence Organization. In fact, he was wounded when Sadat was assassinated in Egypt, and he's over in Japan. I think he's in his 70s now. I don't know whether he's retired or still working for ASIO. And John Wilson came along, who was a member of the Communist Party of Australia, high-level union activist, and obviously an informant for government security. He went out with a famous family called the Finger family, F-I-N-G-E-R, Joan Finger. Some of you may remember him in the Pirate Party. Now, he would keep on at me, Brendan, calm down. This is when I was in Kuala Lumpur. Not everyone's against you. Listen, bro, you're wounded, all right? You're out of the game. You're exhausted. And he'd keep going on about this, just calm down, blah, 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 blah. And right at that same time was Whitney Webb. Now, that was at the same time that Fred Smith, Skull and Bones, okay, the founder of FedEx, that Fred Smith was, of course, in contact with me via his nephew, Joseph Davies. He's the one that introduced me to all those people, Jeremy Rothschild, Greg McCarran, good old... I've forgotten his name. Adam Green. Look what he turned out to be. Oh, so you're being too hard on Adam. I said, that guy's a creep. I guarantee you he's trouble. And lo and behold, what happened with Adam Green? Turns out to be a literal Nazi. Literally, he's interviewing literal neo-Nazis and hanging out with Christopher John Birkness. I heard there was trouble in paradise. I mean, Christopher John Birkness has suddenly found his love for Jesus. I mean, seriously. These people have no shame, just desperate e-beggars. But Adam Green's got an interesting family history, and maybe I'll go into that just to keep people. But all at the same time, there's Whitney Webb. Okay? So, remember, people, I'm not someone who found a few links online and sent some links around and wrote an article or made a video. I have moved in the higher circles, people coming and contacting me. I placed that information on Israel and high technology that everyone was just talking, flapping their gums about online, if they talked about it at all. Because remember, we're in the age of post-2008. Patrick Berge, remember Berge said post-2008, Shadowgate. You weren't going to talk about any issues now. We have that quote from the UNS review about good old Boris Berezovsky said, we're going to set up a fake two-party system in one neoconservative, one socially liberal, and we'll just get them to catfight each other and go, oh, look at these incredible issues. And it's all fake, and we run the whole damn lot. Remember the great Adam Curtis, Vladislav Surkov, the theater stage manager. Here we have Ari Emanuel, our version over here with Rahm Emanuel. We've got Trump in bed with them, World Wrestling Federation, UFC, Joe Rogan. Yes, Matthew North, may he rest in peace. Good kid, 19 years old, unfortunately sucked into the white nationalist movement, who committed suicide. It was very close to Adam Green and his nephew, Joseph Davies, did a really good thing on, and I'll find it on Joe Rogan. So we've got all these links here with this system, which is plainly in place. And I just put to you one caveat that there is a deal being done. between Jewish power and US elites in the classic sense. Whether that's good or bad, well, we'll have to see. But we've just got to keep telling the truth. And like I said, take over the Trump train. There's trouble in paradise, baby. The MAGA movement is fighting back and going off about Trump's picks. They're not stupid. They know about the Trump. I'm going to call you Trump tards, but it's out of respect, all right? You've really woken up big time. And Samsung, I've just got to sign into my Samsung account to tell them to please leave the camera on, please. Maybe if we put it on video. Does that help? We'll try it on video. Anyway, so we know that system, which is in place for good or ill. I mean, we have a population of retards now who need to be managed, the children who have to be managed. And we need a whole new popular culture, a whole new system of governance that's going to create intelligent human beings, or as intelligent as they can be. So there's going to be massive change. But you need to understand, this isn't a 4-year process here. This is a 40 to 50-year process. This is how long. I can tell you exactly how it's going to transpire. Almost exactly. Might get the timing wrong, but I know exactly what they're going to do. Exactly who they're going to use. I know the system, the new popular culture coming through the likes of a Joe Rogan. They're going to have trips to Dubai. What they'll have is like these initiation trips. So when you're 18, you'll go off on a trip and you'll go to the moon thing and take ayahuasca with Joe Rogan, and they'll be rebirthing things like they have here in Mexico. I forgot what they're called. You go into the womb and they do chants and things, which I'm not entirely against. It's the intent behind them. These ones are to create, which we need, a new popular culture. I mean, I've always said I went skydiving at 18. And the first thing I thought, I had a smile on my face for a month. I thought, that is an initiation. We need to get young males especially. And at 18, they got to jump out of an airplane, do accelerated free fall. It's a great initiation. Probably create a whole swarm of drug dealers who need the money for their skydiving addiction. But there's no cheaper thrill than skydiving, and it's pretty damn safe. But we need whole new initiation processes. We need whole new popular culture. This is a 100-year program, 200-year program. As we meld this new high technology world, is it going to serve the human race? Is it going to enslave us? That's the big questions that we face today. But Whitney Webb is the classic example. Here's what tokenism will drag us all to hell, and limited hangouts will drag us all to hell. This is not just some jealousy. Of course, there's some jealousy. Remember, I didn't just send a link. I didn't just write a website. I had my arm broken. I lived in abject terror and fear, but not so much of them, of what I'd single and alone. He thought I was gay. I must be bad. He said, who is this guy? I told you I was a monastic. I hate the world. I hate this world. I hate it. I hate stupidity. And I tried my hardest, just as a registered nurse, trying to be an agent of change and prevention rather than cure. Then I realized the patients don't care. The patients want to be sick, and they want to have millions of dollars spent on them because that satisfies their childhood lack of love and affirmation. And I realized we got a sick society here, man. I hated the world. I'm Lucifer, baby. You want to talk Lucifer? I am fucking Lucifer. I hate the human race. I've got to serve these effers. How stupid they are. They fall for everything. That's the danger. When you start hating the people you hear as a servant, as a minister of the flock, you start hating them. But part of my hatred is I can't do anything. I'm stuck here talking to you, all three of you who are real. The rest of you are friends and family of Intel and plants and bots and God knows what else. And that's right, don't have to email, but I'm real, Brody. I know many of you are real. But out of 600 plus, I'm telling you now, 30 to 40 are real. The rest are completely fake. Fine, just keep sending the money. But you know, part of it is I just feel so freaking helpless. I could get there and get me into America with all the protections of a US citizen, and I'd with Lee and Mary and a few other people and Dawn and others, just a few people. We'd solve your problems. You think, Brendan, that's simple. I'm telling you now, it's that easy. The reason they get away with everything they get away with is simply because you won't realize your power. You won't accept your power. You are in thrall, sitting there online, looking at your manufactured heroes or bitching about your manufactured heroes. And voila, here we are. So anyway, you're in thrall. Now, some of you, you're just not meant to get out there and be politically active. You're scared, you're alone. It doesn't matter. There's no point in me bitching about it. You're just not going to do it for whatever reason. And that can just be, you're just not ready for it. You're just not psychologically ready. And I'm going to ask you in a minute to help me. You want to help me? Don't worry about links. Don't worry about posting my stuff everywhere. I want everything. I want you to follow Whitney Webb. Every single thing she does. I need to make a very accurate expose of her because when I expose Whitney Webb, and I've already got a ton of stuff on her, I mean, it's pretty self-evident. But look at these. Just look at these. Look at these. Thanks for sending this to me. Let's get this. Hello? There we go. Now look at this. This is to do with the current terrorist attacks and ISIS. And here's what she says on X. And she's got a shit ton. She's got like 120,000 views, all right? Some of the same prominent people who rightly have been pointing out, let's get the pen up, pointing out that the FBI and CIA are deeply corrupt, right? It's the FBI and the CIA are deeply corrupt, which they obviously are. Yes, we know, like everything is, everything, including you, Whitney, are now saying we should believe those agencies about the motives and identities of those behind the recent attacks, and also believe FBI, CIA people that the US is now infiltrated and invested with al-Qaeda operatives poised to bring chaos to the US in 2025. Even more odd, some of these people used to rant for hours about how al-Qaeda and ISIS were creations of the US government, either directly or indirectly. Well, no, let's just clarify something. ISIS is not a creation of the US government per se. This is how vague, vacuous, shallow, and unlimited hangout Whitney Webb is. ISIS is a product of the Saudis funding madrasas all over the world. It's a product of Kissinger and Associates, her friend, Kissinger and Associates, and Klaus Schwab, who she never linked together. Never. The boyfriend did, but amazingly, the sperm donor did, but not Whitney. That's why I need your help, because I want to get my facts straight about her. I want to absolutely destroy her. Absolutely destroy her. And finally wake people up. To people go, geez, that's so obvious. I can't believe I missed that. As a lot of people have contacted me and said, I worshipped her now. I realized, my God, she is a limited hanger. What is Al-Qaeda? Funded by the Saudi bank accounts, which are who? Ultimately controlled by the City of London and the Brits, all right? Although we can debate whether the City of London is British. We're Hoofdjuden, okay? We get it. They've infiltrated all through MI5, MI6. They're all intimately involved in creating the Islamic terror network. We know this. Whitney going to tell you about it? The word Israel does not leave her lips in this post. And you think that's real? You think that's real? Jeez. I have to slap people. Creations of the US government, either directly. So the US government did it. That's why I have a quote on the top of my Patreon. The CIA did it. Quote Whitney Webb. She literally said that. Funny how narrative managed works. Al-Qaeda is definitely a US creation, and fear over current and or future attacks will be used to market a complete techno-tyranny takeover. You'll be told that digital ID, digital surveillance money, and Palantir big data, pre-crime algorithms are the only ways to stop the terror attacks, and it will be disturbing to see how many fall for the ruse. Don't give in to the fear. Look at this. Friends. I'll do a Whitney. Friends, don't give in to the fear and don't consent. I refuse consent. Yes. Digital ID and many of these technologies will only stick if you voluntarily comply and adopt them. Now, why don't I care about digital IDs? Here's why I don't care about digital IDs. You know why Whitney cares about digital IDs and Bitcoin security? Because she works for an agency that basically runs drugs. You don't get it. She's going to laugh at that. What are you talking about? I don't work for anyone. Look at her narrative that she pushes, running around to every Bitcoin conference, saying, your privacy's at stake. The only people that care about that are drug dealers and drug traffickers. Did she tell you the Unit 8200 in Israel was behind the whole crypto movement, obviously? Has she told you that Israel is a cyber technology juggernaut? Did she tell you about not Unit 8200, Telport program? Yeah, she did once on Rick Wiles, and then she shut up, and Rick Wiles disappeared that excellent interview. Again, she captured the market. And then it all just faded away and everyone moved on to the next thing. And I've got a guy fully associated with Australian Asia, which is British GCHQ, which is British MI6, I might add, far closer to the Brits and the Crown corporate than they are to America. And there's Whitney telling, don't give in to the fear and don't consent. Okay, Willie, Whitney, when they give you the digital ID, now she's not telling you things that Edward Snowden told us all those years ago, which was everything is tracked and traced, every chip is, and I mean every chip. You know, remember Print Nightmare, Print Spooler? They called it Print Nightmare. And now it mainly affected corporate, which is the big targets, the corporate targets, the Pentagon, private industry, Boeing. The reason they couldn't fix it, they even publicly announced it, and it still took them 3 months to fix it. You know why? After a year. Because the backdoors were in the damn chips in every single printer ever made. Everything is backdoored. Everything is serialized and it is attached to you immediately. And Whitney means, there's no consent. Already Whitney won't tell you why the central bank digital currency is a wonderful thing. She won't tell you why. The other aspects, which is linking it to what, with that ledger system, right, with that decentralized system, which is to link it to every single thing you use in the Internet of Things. That's all about AI. She hasn't explained all about that AI stuff to you, has she? This is a journalist. She's a journalist. Remember how she covered from In-Press News in with Iran? Remember how she refused? Do you know how many people? We had hundreds of people hammering her night and day on Rouhani studying for 6 years in Scotland with Jack Straw and Lord Levi. One step from Lord Jacob Rothschild himself, and Whitney Webb would not touch it. She's on there with Russell Brand. One step from Rothschild. And when it was pulled up, Noah Harari was your best friend. You know what she replied? She didn't reply, oh my God, I know, it's terrible. I feel really bad. I just thought I'd try and get the message out. I should have been more careful. She didn't say that. She said, and I almost quote, not paraphrasing, almost quote, I am not responsible for who Russell... No. What did she say with Russell Brand? I can't remember. But it was along the same lines of Glenn Beck. When people say Glenn Beck is a hardcore Zionist, and she said, I'm not responsible for who Glenn Beck has on next, which was Bibi, or whoever it was. High-level Israeli stuff. She doesn't even care because she's doing her job and getting very well paid for it. She's a journalist. She can't even get 30% right. I get frustrated because I know I'm talking to myself. Do you know what? Do you realize that I can't even post on Reddit? Do you realize that just nothing happens? I click the button and it just goes 12s like that and nothing happens. I give up. Do you know how many times people have said, hey, I saw you post on that military and it was gone in an hour? Do you know how many times I've been banned from accounts? Just from one very banal, easy post. Nothing major. Just, oh, you should really look into where Microsoft is co-coded. Boom, delete. They follow me around the internet. Whitney Webb has over 100, look at this, 1,000 reposts, 112,000 views. That was on the 2nd of January, one day. Come on, people. Now, even if you assume, how do I convince you? How do I convince you that your life and the life of your children depend on people telling you the truth? I don't know how to convince you because it hasn't hit home, because life's too fucking easy. The trouble is, there'll be a few rolling blackouts, but nothing major. It's not going to be a collapse. Nothing's going to happen like that. They can't afford to. With 300 million firearms, too much chaos, military wakes up as they are. They've got a lot of problems, and a deal's being done. Whitney says refuse consent. Look at the central bank digital currency. I don't need to read a single post of hers or anyone else on the central bank digital currency. I can think for myself. At 54 years of age, I can think for myself. It's very easy. Right now, everything people complain about, 90% of what people complain about, oh, they can track and trace everything I do. Oh, my goodness. They could even stop me spending money. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, they say. So you mean they can do things that they already do right now? On your credit card, on your debit card, on your bank account. Your bank account has been taken from dozens of people already. But apparently, the central bank digital currency, but I'll tell you who doesn't like the idea of a trackable central bank digital currency. Who doesn't want a fully trackable automated central bank digital currency? Drug dealers, people doing the dark arts, paying off your troll armies. They're the people who don't want a traceable central bank digital currency. And they definitely don't want a biometric, some sort of card that keeps you offline, that you need to go online. They definitely don't want that. You are already trapped. I'm already cut off from online right now. So I say, fuck it. The sooner you're banned offline, maybe you might actually leave online and go offline and start talking to real human beings. Maybe you'll start doing that. Do you seriously believe that right now, that any of this is real? What happens if they stop a large portion of the population from, say, posting on Israel? What will happen to those people? Do they go away? Do they magically disappear in a puff of smoke? They don't go away. You know what they do? When they fully realize that when they're openly not allowed online, I mean, Whitney Webb won't even tell you that what Patrick Berge says. She won't say Christopher Bollin's name. She hangs with James Corbett, the arch limited hangout of all time. And people are still confused. I said, Brenda, I get your point, but why focus on that? Number one, I have a very limited audience, and I only have to affect one person outside the network. Look at the work we've done with Lee and Mary. These people like Whitney Webb are telling you, you're going to die. You're going to die. Your children are dead. We're going to die. But apparently they can't mention Brendan O'Connor's name. Let me tell you, when you really believe things are bad, like fuck, it affected me like at a resonant level. Whitney Webb knows it's all bullshit. She's getting well paid. She spreads fear. She doesn't solve problems. She didn't say, we need to form grassroots political parties and start getting in and infiltrating the MAGA movement especially and getting in front of people's faces like we've done with Marion Lee. Has she ever said that? Do you mean I seriously have to bitch slap the living shit out of you to wake you up? The only way you'll wake up, even if you agree with me, is when it hurts. And here's the problem. It's never going to hurt enough. It's going to hurt, but never enough to make you move offline. Never. And I don't have the reach. I could walk into the United States tomorrow and fix all your problems. And you're going, I literally mean this. I literally mean this. It's that easy, because it's that easy. You are so Hollywoodized. You've just got Hollywood in your head. They're going to come. They're not going to do anything. The reason they have to keep everyone in line is because they don't have enough killers. Too many people have woken up. Too many in the military. My main one focus will be state authorities, FBI, federal authorities, and the intelligence community in the military. I'd be at every damn military base, every damn military meeting, every damn military gathering point, every military forum. I'd be out there and I'd have your problem solved in a few years. There you go. And I fucking mean what I just said. I totally mean it. It's that easy. And they've totally convinced you with a magical, don't look over there, look over here, look over here. Oh my God, it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous, ladies. Oh, and it's all bullshit. Total bullshit. They don't have enough people. These are private companies doing this. Privatized companies. You need to stop with these fantasies. Look what Whitney Webb just said. 100,000 plus views on X. She's exposing Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a globalist. And this is 2023. March 2023, or was it 2024? Was it 2023 or 24? I can't remember. She went on Glenn Beck.
And all the central banks, even on the, in places like Russia, where Vladimir Putin talks a good game about nationalism and protecting our culture, they're going full steam ahead with that too.
And she actually, after defending non-stop Vladimir Putin, I mean, what more do you need? Put her in the context of the multipolar world order, put her in the context of Assange, put her in the context of freaking good old Edward Snowden, and you see the forming of the multipolar world order. The word Kissinger wouldn't barely leave her lips. When she was on the Patrick Bet-David podcast, actually I don't mind a lot of the time, sometimes, he's got a Jewish compadre on there, American Jewish compadre. And I like Patrick Bet-David because he's a typical Scorpio. He says, Who are they, Whitney? Who are they? Give us the names. Give us the names. And when he goes, the CIA, Rockefellers, and the Jewish guy had to pipe in and say, Rockefeller. And she went, oh, yeah.
Well,
we got
IBM,
big banks.
I would say big tech is
Big tech is what
better.
you would say. Okay,
Yeah.
big tech. Then we said CIA, DOJ, FBI combined together, military-industrial complex. Fine. Now give me individuals. What families? Names the last 60 years since November of 2000 to November of 1963, not 22nd, since November 1st of 1963 till today, which top families have destroyed America the most?
Okay, Rockefeller's number one,
Rockefeller.
probably.
Who
yeah.
else?
After that, I'd put the Chicago families up there,
Pritzker?
the Crowns and the Pritzkers. I'd
Okay.
probably put them together. Yeah.
Chicago, got it. Who else?
All right, the opioid crisis, the Sacklers.
Okay, the Sacklers.
Because that, a lot of not enough people talk about that, but that you could sort of rope into big pharma, like some of the big companies that are tied to suspect stuff going on with the anthrax attacks and also with COVID stuff. Emergent Biosolutions, they make a killing off of selling Narcan. They have
Who
a
else?
monopoly on Narcan too.
So we got three: Rockefeller, the Chicago, the Pritzker. You put them together. The opioid, the Sacklers. Who else?
Well, again, I think, when you're talking about banking interests, a lot of these tend to be transnational. You have some of these old money banks from Europe.
Give me names, family.
Rothschild.
Yeah, I'd probably put the Rothschilds
Okay.
on there for sure. But they openly made an alliance with the Rockefellers not that long ago.
Who else?
And these are just families. Probably talking about individuals,
Names,
like a Henry
families.
Kissinger.
It could be
like one of those-
Kissinger, Clinton,
Yeah,
Biden. People who
yeah.
have sold America.
Well, Kissinger sold America out, definitely. Yeah.
I'm here because of Kissinger. You know
Sorry.
that.
I mean, what more do you need? What more do you need? Seriously, once you link Klaus Schwab, Kissinger, Rothschild, Rouhani, Around Press TV, Min Press News and all that, and he's in Scotland, the Jews of Scotland, hanging with Jack Straw and Lord Levi for crying out loud. She won't breathe a word. She wouldn't tell you about Microsoft being totally core-coded, Intel R&D. I mean, come on. It's like I sit here and I get depressed because I can't reach anyone. I am so freaking contained down into a box. I'm physically harassed, online harassed. People enter my home. You know, they unlocked the Amazon security gate. I said, where's the security gate? I'm like, oh, I don't know. The password's been changed on the security gate. We had a card. I really like that. Fucking razor wire. I love that place. And the lady around it said, I don't know. I said, well, who does the security? She said, Amazon. Oh, well, that explains it. And remember, at the same time, I was being interviewed by the Italian press via Paola. I mean, Paola is just, like, she does hardcore stuff, man. She's a lecturer in the UK and Italy and elsewhere. All right, she does things like accident investigations for, like, as a subcontractor. I can't remember exact, but like the NTSB and stuff. And I'm getting interviewed by the Italian press. And you know what happened? As we're trying to arrange the times, like an hour before it starts, I'm getting Paola's messages from Italy, right, because she's going to oversee. The messages are not coming through Signal as an encrypted message, right? They're coming through Signal. They're coming through Signal, unencrypted, and not just unencrypted via normal text. They're coming through the number that Amazon uses to give me the code to get into my Amazon account on a browser. And you're going, what? No, that's what's going on. That's one of 100 things they've done to me. Hundreds of things. I'm just so fucking used to it now. I am literally the most hacked and harassed person on this planet. End of story. End of story. Oh, if you didn't know, friends from the Pentagon send down their sister. How close to Millie? One office next door. Tap to command, all sorts of things. I'll leave it at that. He seems like a reasonable guy. Fred Smith. Colonel James McMahon and Tony Abbott's besties, the former Prime Minister of Australia, going to hang out with them. What do I have to do to convince you? What do I have to do? I've got the prosecutor's office admitting the call took place with the minister for 32 minutes. It wasn't quite 33. What a shame. 32 minutes. On October the 10th, 2014. I'm more scared of my own prison officers than I am of the bikies when I stop their drugs getting into the jail. That's a quote from the minister in charge of prisons, Joe Francis. I mean, I don't even know what to do. I do know what to do. I have to make a clear, concise, well-made video. Step by step, going through all the stuff about Whitney Webb, all the stuff and she's not worried. Does she look concerned at all about some of the excellent videos I make showing her up? Any. She's not fazed at all. She's been told, don't worry about him. Everything's under control, Whitney. You know, her father, being a multi-zillionaire at Sarasota, Florida, you know, the home of Mahmoud Atta and the Venice Flying Circus. Thank you, Daniel Hopsiger. And then you've got George Webb. You know, George Webb's brother is in Intel. Thank you, Crowdsource the Truth guy. Sorry. I've forgotten his name. The one who exposed Robert Dale Steele's friendship with Roger Stone. I mean, we've got, like, Shadowgate. It may as well have never been made. The two videos, they're quite good. They didn't go deep into Israel, but you got the point. You got the point. It's like it was never made. Chris Berlin never existed. Do you see what they do? They give you the Young Turks, the new, hip, trendy people. Oh, look over here. Never going to mention Kay Griggs, Bill Cooper, none of the old stuff. They're just going to keep you on for the innocent of the day, give you a few generalized names and go, don't consent. Ask Whitney what the solution is to the ongoing technology juggernaut and autonomous kill vehicles. Ask her what the solution is. She's going to say, stay online, fight the I love the biometric ID card. Bring it on. Bring it on. It's not going to happen. Not now anyway. But just bring it on. All these troll bullshit artists will disappear. Do you know when I talk about drug dealers, do you know just what large percentage of the population deal drugs all day, maybe work as a cover, but just deal drugs and sit around all day on forums? Do you know the percentage? It's higher than you think. Do you know the percentage of the troll armies? Who do you think was paying me $500 USD a week when I was in Kuala Lumpur? Good old John McAfee, the number one drug launderer for the Ukrainian-Russian mafia. You know, I still doubt McAfee's dead because you don't believe McAfee was involved in the Silk Road, making billions of dollars with $1 billion in Bitcoin. You don't believe he was involved in that? He's probably at the same witness protection hotel, you know, Suites, one of the big, hotel suite companies somewhere, like with Mike Gill was, where the FBI stashed their people. He's probably there with Robert David Steele and good old Scott Bennett And McAfee probably all in the same freaking hotel. You just don't get it. The intimate link between drugs, drug trafficking, weapons trade, and that Bitcoin money. Bitcoin's at 100 grand. It's not going over that, you fools. As if. That's how Russia's paying for so much stuff. It's all Israeli. All of it. Because it's Israeli-Russian. It's a camp. It's a major hub of intrigue and criminality. That's what it is. It's a criminal bunker for the city of London. It's where the thugs hang out. Look, Lord Jacob doesn't hang around Bibi. He just has to be seen with him on occasion. He just sees him as a thug. He's just the sergeant in arms. He is the strong arm enforcer. And that's where they operate out of. Where it's quiet and contained, and you can get away with stuff and talk about things more openly than you can if you're a plant in MI6 or MI5 or elsewhere. I don't know how to convince you until things hurt, until I have to convince you. It's not about Whitney Webb per se, but she's the prime example, and it's very closely linked with me. Once I put everything together, anyone watching that video, assuming anyone sees it, no one will be any doubt what she is. And, I was even thinking of crowdfunding some money to really dig deep and get a private investigator to dig deep exactly where she is, not to dox her, but I want to know everything about it. And you're looking at anywhere from $10,000 to $13,000. I seriously thought about it because to just expose her so completely. I mean, remember when she said, out of the blue, she comes out and says, no rumors are around, nothing, just out of the blue. To the people that hacked my PayPal, ha ha ha, I do not have millions in my PayPal. You just don't know the difference between Argentinian or Chilean pesos and thing. Ha 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 ha. I said, I've only got $2,000 in there, comrades. I'm sorry, why wouldn't you have a screenshot? So someone hacked your PayPal, has the ability to hack your PayPal, but they're too stupid to note that it's Argentinian or Chilean pesos or whatever? Really? And she just comes out of the blue. So no screenshot saying, hey, this is how much money. She's entitled to have $20,000 in cash in her PayPal, quite frankly. Anybody is. People got to live, got to eat, assuming she was real, because she's not. I bet she does have millions of dollars, because you tell me why, out of the blue, you would pop up and say, you don't know the difference to Chilean pesos. Why wouldn't you provide a screenshot just to say, hey, look, I got $2,000 in there. I hope you got $2,000. I've got more money than you in my account, and I need it in my account. I take it you know how much a sudden flight out of the country is. She's perfectly entitled, just assume she was real, to have $20,000 in her account. I wish I had $20,000, but she could have $20,000 in her account. She's allowed to make money, pay for her kids, buy a property. Fine. But she's fucking fake. I've got to convince you that your life depends on people telling you the truth. Right now, it's just a Hollywood movie. Everyone's just hanging around, gathered around, hanging out at the pub, talking, gossiping at the cafe, online. The sooner everyone's booted offline, the better. Do you think they're going to boot everyone offline? They know exactly what's going to happen. What's going to happen when everyone gets booted offline with a card to post on social media? Look, they're already starting. I mean, why would you care? You're already using a credit card to pay me and pay Whitney and pay Alex Jones and buy his products. See, people just don't think for themselves. You're already registered. Why won't Whitney Webb tell you about the beauty of the central bank digital currency, that all of these shenanigans are going to end? You're not going to be run around and be able to pay a troll army so easily, are you? Why won't she ask the question, not whether we have a central bank digital currency? We're already completely tracked and traced. It's already done. It's already done. There's no argument to say that's any different about, but then it will be it's already very easy. They're all intimately linked all the way into the Federal damn Reserve, you clowns. The question is not whether we have a central bank digital currency. The question is who controls the central bank digital currency? Oh, I can't believe I passed up this. Who controls, I can't believe I forgot, the central bank, I love it. Oh, my moon in Virgo is loving this. Digital currency. Exclamation mark, capital, who? Who controls the central bank digital currency? Understand the difference? Who controls it? Oh, should we have it? Oh, and this, that. Who controls it? Once you ask that question, you're down a completely different track. It's like when people say $5 trillion was lost out of the US economy during the 2008 crash by the complete fraudulent, criminal, outrageous, criminal negligence at best, causing complete havoc throughout the country. The question is not that the money was lost. All we have to do is change one word. Not that money is lost. Lost. No. The word we need is transferred. The only real word we want to really transferred. The money was transferred, because you know what happens by changing one word? Not the money is lost, because then it's lost. It's it's in the forest somewhere. It's under the bed, someone's bed. We don't know where it is. If you say it's transferred, the immediate thing is, well, let's just go get it back. Somebody has it. It's a very subtle but very powerful point. Lost to transferred. The money was not lost. The money was transferred. Do you see? It's all about word games. It's not just narratives. It's word games. What we're seeing now with these terrorist attacks in New Orleans and that is pure distraction. They got 1,000 of these ready to go. 1,000 of them. I don't even bother looking at them. I told you it's going to be 10 years of this shit. Non-fucking stop. And part of the reason they're doing it is this. It's all Israeli run and control. Trump's their boy, but it's not all their own way. Trust me. Deals have been done, and they've been told. Clean up your Islamic terror network. You spill Jewish blood. You're not spilling our blood, and you'll pretend Russian Jewish blood. You clean up your terror network. We're putting bases in. You know, bases are already going Syria, right? Duh. We're going to go in Ukraine, just as I said. I mean, has this word ever left the lips? Oh, yes, you can see I'm loving this. Let's make it even wider. Oh, it's already wide enough. All right, you ready? Has the word left Whitney Webb? You know what I'm going to write. Polar world order. Oh, excuse me. Can we go back, please? World order. Has that word or that group of words left the lips of Whitney Webb ever? The journalist. Yeah, credit to the female race. The drivel that came out from her butt army was incredible. Multipolar world. What about Primakov? Primakov doctrine. Well, she can't, because then she'd be exposing the Kissinger doctrine. And she works for that network. Just a hit crazy. I don't work for anybody. Do you see the lies she told about me? Calling me mentally ill, basically. Saying things I'd never even said. I don't even know what the hell she was talking about. And she's a journalist? That was desperation. Again, got to put it in a voiceover. The sad fact is I can't win because you're never going to hurt enough in the West, in Europe, in the UK, in Australia. People are hurting, but I'm talking about fearing for your life. That hurt, not financial hurt. Fearing for your life. A genuine feeling of terror. Collectively as well, that bad things are going to happen. They know by the data analytics. Exactly. You think you're not a precious little snowflake. There's 8 data points is all they need to predict your behavior. 8. And the average idiot has 2,000 to 3,000. Trust me. They already know exactly what they're doing. It's the Trump-tard base is rebelling against Susie Wiles on all these picks. It's spreading slowly. Rahm Emanuel, Baraka. What the hell? It's spreading slowly. And they're going, shit. You see, it makes sense to keep those Jews or pretend Jews or whatever in power and take over their network and just tell them, well, we'll just feed you to the dogs. How about we do that? Because it's changed now. Just look I'm getting constant feeds of high-level, very professional videos on the Liberty, Jewish power. Wait till they start talking Talmud. I expect that'll be within a year they'll start talking Talmud. They'll appoint their new young Turk genius. They're not going to have Michael Hoffman of revisionisthistory.org. He's not going to talk. It's going to be some clown, some little young hipster's going to be telling you all about the Talmud. They're getting ready to unfold it. This is to put pressure on the system. And this is the way the game is played. We need to keep that also in the background. That's how you take over the network. You don't destroy it. You take it over. Like I'm telling you, don't destroy Margaret. If you could be the ultimate leftist, don't destroy it. Saul Alinsky, take it over. Penetrate. Get them on national security. And that's how you take it over. And you will force that elite at the top. I mean, I'm starting to like Laura Loomer. I mean, things getting bad when even Laura Loomer's speaking up about things better, about who he's putting in there. And Elon Musk, they want him gone. That's why you're seeing a lot of this stuff. It seems very 101 and almost infantile, but these are infantile people. So they're just going to have these stupid terrorist attacks. You notice how stupid and simple they are? You know how easy it is to manipulate these people? You know how easy it is to tell someone they're part of it, like that guy who was a Green Beret. It seems pretty real that he was, in fact, a Green Beret, you know, for over 20 years. You do realize a Green Beret specialize in counterinsurgency, insurgency, psychological warfare? Is he even dead? Did he even drive in the car, or did the car drive itself there? I mean, remember, they've got to have dragons to slay. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, get me everything you can on Whitney Webb. Everything. Follow her day in, day out. Send me interesting stuff and put in the title of the email. Send it via email, Whitney Webb at the top. All right? And if I'm not, I will reply. I reply to every email. I'm a little slow at the moment due to the time of the year and whatnot, but I'll get back into it. So you saw Whitney Webb here. Look at this garbage. I mean, seriously. Don't consent to the digital ID. I say bring on the digital ID. Quote me. Quote me. Do you not understand? You're already online digital ID. You're already paying me via your credit card. They're paying Alex Jones for his dick pills via credit card. You just don't get it. You're putting every thought and feeling on your fucking Facebook, and I mean, you just don't get it. That's the distraction. Look over there. Here comes the central bank digital currency and the digital ID. You're already on. You're on the train. Oh my God, there's the train to Auschwitz. And if you bother to look over there, you'll see destination of the train you're on, Auschwitz. You're already on the freaking train. But at least everybody will know. See, it's all a ruse, and they're never going to be able to implement it yet. It's not going to happen. This is just plopping up the data analytics, seeing the responses. Whitney Webb comes out, don't consent. I mean, do you think that as a grown adult, she's had 2 kids, a journalist, geopolitical journalist, that she seriously sits there and goes, don't forget to, don't consent. I don't consent to the juggernaut. Okay, I won't consent. Oh my God, I can't use my bank account till I get my digital ID. What do? I just don't consent. I'm in Chile. I'm with my organic gig farm. Don't consent, comrades. She is the epitome of everything I cannot despise about the rich kids running around. Look at the history of all the Jewish rich kids whose families were bankers and they were joining the Weather Underground. It's the same. It never changes. History doesn't repeat. It rhymes. That's all Whitney Webb is, another Jewish kid. She's a Jewish kid by their own racial ethnic definition, all right? Look at her father. Look at all the stuff, all right? You just don't get it. Just don't get it. Webb, stone, steel, diamond. You just don't get it. I know many of you do. When you'll put this on Patreon, I'll try and put it on thingy, but has Whitney ever said, we need to get Jews, Christians, and Muslims together? Ever? Has Mel Gibson? You know, he just gets high on coke and crack and come down on alcohol with his Israeli-Russian whore wives and girlfriends, with his Israeli Defense Force bodyguards, and then rants about the Jews. Has Mel Gibson ever put his millions ever into something useful, like, I don't know, conferences where Jews, Christians, and Muslims get together? Ever? See, we've got to start thinking for ourselves and stop cheering these people and say, that's not the solution. What's the final solution for humanity? All of us, Jews, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, communists, atheists. What is the final solution? Because we're all going in the camps, baby. The camps were full of Jews in Russia. They didn't go in for religious beliefs like Christians did. They put one word out of line. They didn't get special privileges. They were straight in those camps. Resources and it's full of Jews. As many of them were really believing this would usher in this new, with the workers' control of industry, and it was going to be a paradise. They went, they go, we can kill all the guy. You understand? We're all going into the smart cities, Jews included. There will not be a special Jewish smart city. They hate us all. Do you think Rothschild sits there, hey, just care about my precious Jewish friends? He wants them all rounded up and gone. Do you understand simply from their own text that the Israelites are 12 lost tribes? Like with the Waffen-SS, they want to breed a super race. Do you think they give a damn about these freaking 5'2", buck-tooth freaking Chabad Levovich? Oh, we are the elite supremacists. They will get rid of those people like they get rid of them into the camps. And they even said it was really good, the camps, because it got rid of the old and the sick and only the fit survived. Listen to the rhetoric. It's Nazi rhetoric. It's supremacist rhetoric because it's the same freaking people. Talk again soon. That was very long.